Good evening to all our participants and a big welcome to our panelists. Tonight's webinar will discuss legal financial obligations in the state of Washington. My name is Sarai Cook, and I will be your moderator for this evening. I'm a staff attorney for the Civil Survival Project, and I've been impacted by the justice system myself. As we go along with tonight's program, feel free to put your questions in the chat box. At the end of the program, we will go over all of your questions. Before we get started, I want to tell you more about our panelists. Our panelists are Game Changer leaders. Game Changer groups are local meetings of individuals who have attended civil survival workshops and who are interested in the issues that we address. Members focus on local and state issues and set their own agendas based on what's going on in their communities. The real and ongoing work of civil survival takes place through the Game Changer groups. Game Changer groups are uniquely qualified to push for change, and their members are the ones directly impacted by institutional policies, state laws, ordinances, and other things that impede reentry. Through the Game Changer groups, justice-involved individuals introduce themselves to community leaders, administrative authorities, and legislators, and become engaged in the process of reform. The work they do affects people where they live and work, and enables them to come out of the closet and to be active and open members of their respective communities. Civil survival started with one Game Changer group in Kitsap County, Washington. This has been duplicated, and there are now Game Changer groups in 4 cities: Thurston County, South King County, Pierce County, and Kitsap County. We are working to form Game Changer groups in more communities as well as within the prison system, because reentry starts even before release. Civil survival and its Game Changer members have participated in a variety of activities designed to reduce barriers to reentry in Washington state. Tonight's panelists are Game Changer leaders and leaders within the formerly incarcerated movement. We will start out with Corey Walster, and he will introduce himself and talk about the challenges he sees in his communities around LFOs. Corey?
Thank you. My name is Corey Walster. I'm a formerly incarcerated person. I'm also an Oglala Lakota tribal member, and I'm a community organizer for the Civil Survival Project. I've been through the prison system twice. My original orders was around $2,000 per case, and I had 3 cases. When I was released, in 2005, I set my payments at $30 because that's what I could afford. When I set up that payment, the clerk told me that won't even cover the interest. I knew I could never pay it off, so my goal wasn't necessarily to cover more than the interest. It was just to keep myself from being violated or going back to jail for failure to pay. My check was being garnished for back child support. I was paying current child support. I had rent to pay. I had to pay for groceries. And if I remember correctly, I think that left me about $10 a month for what I would call entertainment, and that would be basic cable. By 2018, I'd paid around $2,000 off on my LFOs. I'm lucky enough that my mother helped me with that and made a large payment. But still, I owed $15,000, and that was in more interest than what I was originally ever sentenced. So once we were able to get legislation through that helped to remove the interest rate and implemented not only mandatory fines, I was able to receive relief at LFO Day here in Kitsap County. And after LFO day, that $15,000 was lowered to around $450. And again, that's just removing the non-mandatory fines and the interest that it had gained. And you know, in the community, what I'm seeing is very similar examples. Not everybody was able to come to our LFO day here in Kitsap. Not everybody was able to come to our LFO day in Pierce County. And there are other communities begging for opportunities like this. But unfortunately, under the current system, access to relief isn't easy without help. And those that need the help the most are furthest from the resources, our communities that are living in poverty. And the system's overwhelming. You know, it's not easy to figure out how to navigate and file on your own. So I'm grateful that we're able to start doing some of this support with our RELAP program. I'm also hearing for many that there's no relief ever coming for them under current laws. Restitution was not covered under the LFO laws that passed. And there are people that don't owe restitution necessarily to individuals, but they owe restitution to either insurance companies or the state. And they're astronomical amounts that they owe that they can never, ever get out from under. And some things that we need for the future, simply, we need to increase opportunity for people that owe restitution. And we need low barrier access to relief and the lowest barriers for it to be automated.
Thank you so much, Corey, for your experience and your passion in the community and everything that you do for the community. We really appreciate you. Next, we'll hear from another Game Changer leader. We'll hear from Christopher Johnston, and he is a Game Changer leader for Pierce County. Christopher, please introduce yourself and let us know about your experiences within the community with LFOs.
Good evening, and thank you. Like Sarai said, my name is Christopher Johnston. I'm the Pierce County Game Changer Group leader and a formerly incarcerated resident of Tacoma, Washington. And I'm actually going to share something I wrote about my observations and experience at the Pierce County Legal Financial Obligation Reconsideration Day, as I was actually not a beneficiary of LFO relief. So here's my experience and observation that I wrote about. The Pierce County Legal Financial Obligation Reconsideration Day was a phenomenal event. As a frequent visitor of the Pierce County Courthouse, never before have I seen hundreds of formerly incarcerated people lined up to willingly stand before a judge. It was also a paradigm-shifting moment for me to be working inside the courthouse lobby, greeting formerly incarcerated people, signing them in, ushering them in line, and directing them to various locations. The most memorable part of the event for me, in addition to seeing all the smiling faces, never ever would I think I'd witness hundreds of smiling faces in the Pierce County Courthouse. But it was seeing at least 3 people that I was incarcerated with enter the lobby. The first remark from one of the men after greeting me was, "So this isn't a setup? Am I actually going to get my fines reduced?" I responded that individuals in Kitsap County had thousands of dollars reduced. The second individual appeared distressed, standing in the long line of 500 people, but looked eager to get his fees reduced. On a side note, I recall playing poker with him for months while confined in the jail. The third individual I saw was a workout partner of a friend of mine in prison. I occasionally worked out with the both of them. He had disclosed to me that another friend of ours who was in the prison with us had recently died a tragic death after his release from prison. The 3 individuals, especially the last one I mentioned, seemed impressed by my role as Game Changer leader. And I apologize, my son is knocking on the door. Hold on, son. I think my favorite part was this, because when incarcerated with people, you tend to create this bond with folks from a place of shared suffering, and you hope the best for people in their future. Seeing those three people to me meant that they were well and stable enough to have benefited from LFO Reconsideration Day. Months later, I ran into the second individual I mentioned at a buffet. I asked him how his situation went at the LFO event. He said that over $5,000 was reduced from his obligations. He expressed satisfaction that his fines went from about $10,000 to about $2,000 to $3,000. So he seemed pretty satisfied about that. And that is my account of the Pierce County LFO Reconsideration Day event. Thank you again, Sarai, for inviting me to share, as well as everyone from Civil Survival for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this work. Thanks.
Thank you, Christopher. I had the opportunity to go to one of your meetings, and I was really impressed with all of the information that you were bringing to the people that showed up for your meeting and how well coordinated it was, and it was really special for me. So I just want to take this time to thank you for your service within the community.
Thanks.
And okay, so next we'll have Kelly Olson. Kelly will introduce herself and tell about her experiences with legal financial obligations, as well as what she's seeing in her community within Thurston County.
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here tonight. I'm Kelly Olson. I am the Thurston County Game Changer leader, and I am also formerly incarcerated. I've been with Civil Survival for about 2 years now. Starting off, it was always difficult for me to talk about my past. And so I spent probably the first 10 years out of prison not really talking about it and just carrying that shame with me. But as I started to look at my life, I realized how much it was holding me back by holding on to that, and that I had done my time and that it was time to move forward. And I saw the work that Civil Survival was doing and started to recognize all the barriers I was facing. And so I wanted to get involved. So like I said, I'm the Thurston County Game Changer leader. We were actually in the process of planning a Thurston County LFO Reconsideration Day for this June. But as with everything else in 2020, those plans kind of went out the window. We've been back in touch with them and are starting to figure out what it is that we can do. So I'm disappointed that we weren't able to put on the one in Thurston County that we had been working on. I did get to participate in the Pierce County one as part of Civil Survival, and it was really powerful to see everybody get so much relief. I think there are just a few individuals that I didn't know on a personal level. There was a woman who got her fines reduced enough that she felt she could pay it off and that she could vacate her record and become a nurse. There was somebody else who had over like $100,000 of fines waived in just that one day. And it was super powerful just to see people essentially start to have hope again. Corey mentioned it earlier, but I myself have a high restitution that I am working to pay off. And as the laws passed, that was not one that has been passed. So there is actually no relief for that at this time. And I think one of the most interesting things I find about the LFO and not being able to vacate your records and not being able to move forward in life is that it actually holds you back from getting living wage jobs and to earn that money to even pay it back in the first place. So I'm really excited for the workshop that we're going to have tonight, and for the we're working with Thurston County Public Defense and some other people in Thurston County that we're planning to have some more regular workshops. It still is in the development stages, and eventually one day we want to have a full LFO day, and also want to work with Civil Survival to see what we can do to find some relief for those of us who may never find it if something is not done for restitution. So thank you for having me here tonight, and I'm excited for the rest of this evening's presentation.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for your insight and your input. And I've been to several of your meetings, and you do just a fabulous job with bringing in people from the local government and working with your local government and your local courts and Also, thank you so much for bringing Thurston County courts and their legal aid to try to work on LFOs. We really appreciate your work. All right, so tonight's training is for individuals that cannot afford a lawyer to help them with their LFOs, but it's also a training for game changer leaders. These packets will be given to game changer leaders so that they can hand out to people in the community that think that they're able to work on their own case. So I'm going to share my screen and go over the PowerPoint. All right, like I said, this presentation is for people who cannot afford to pay legal financial obligations, or LFOs, that are imposed on you by a Washington State District, Municipal, or Superior Court in a criminal case. This presentation will teach you about information and forms to bring a motion before the court, ask the court to reduce or waive, forgive, or cancel your LFOs. And I'm asking that game changer leaders, as we go through this, if you can mark down any questions that you have or you don't understand any portion of this, you can write down the questions and then ask at the end. I also want to give credit for this information, and that credit goes to the Northwest Justice Project and Washington Law Help. A big thank you to the person or persons who put together this work to make it possible for all people to have access to justice. Your step one. All right. So before you start, you have to identify every case in Washington in which you have a conviction of a crime. Write down the criminal case number. If you do not know the case number, you can get a report from the Washington State Patrol called a watch report. This is the information for getting your watch report. So you have online. The Washington State Patrol runs a program called WATCH, which stands for Washington Access to Criminal History. WATCH does not report convictions from out of state, but will report all Washington convictions, including juvenile adjudications. There are 3 ways to obtain your WATCH report. Here it is. Here's the online information. www.fortress.wa.gov/WSP/watch. You'll need to create an account linked with your credit card, and the cost is $10, and the record will be produced immediately, and then you can save a copy by mail. You can also do it by mail, and you can send in a written request for a conviction criminal history record. The forms can be found online, and the web address is here on this PowerPoint. And this will be $17, and it will take between 1 and 2 weeks to get the record. You can also submit a request based on full fingerprints. The cost for a fingerprint background check is $26. You'll also have to pay your local law enforcement agency to take the fingerprints, and the cost for the fingerprints varies between $5 and $15, and it'll take between 1 and 2 weeks to get the record. Also, in person, you can get your record. Every person has the right to review his or her personal criminal history record. You may also request a copy of the record in Olympia. You may inspect your criminal history record at the Washington State Patrol office in Olympia. To make an appointment, call and the numbers on the PowerPoint, 360-634-2000, 360-634-2000. You can see it right there on the PowerPoint. The Washington State Patrol may require you to submit fingerprints for identification and may charge $13 for fingerprinting. Washington State Patrol staff will help explain the information on the watch report to you, or at your local police office. If you cannot get to Olympia, you can ask to access your criminal history record at your local law enforcement agency. Law enforcement may charge you a fee to take your fingerprints. The watch will then send your criminal history file to the local law enforcement. Judgment and sentence. So you're going to ask the clerk of the county where you have your criminal history, ask the clerk of the court for a copy of your judgment and sentence, or your JNS, and an LFO accounting summary. The JNS says how much you were originally sentenced to pay, and the accounting summary should show how much you have paid and how much interest and fees have been added, and also how much you still owe. Once you have your JNS and your accounting summary, you'll ask the clerk how to schedule a hearing for a motion to remit LFOs, a motion to remit LFOs. Every county has its own rules about how many days before a hearing to file a motion. Don't be afraid to ask about the process. Most counties require you to file and serve your paperwork at least 7 days before the hearing. So that means you would come to the clerk's office and you would file and submit and give notice 7 days before. You should probably pick a hearing date several weeks away so you have time to fill out all the paperwork, serve the prosecutor, and then file your paperwork with the court with plenty of time left before the hearing. Print the date and time the clerk gives you for the hearing in the space marked on the notice of hearing form. And after this PowerPoint presentation, I will show you the forms and I will show you exactly what we're talking about on the forms. So there'll be a notice of hearing form that we'll go over. So you'll need to fill out forms that the Game Changer leaders can give to you. I will send copies of the forms to the Game Changer leaders, and then so you can contact our website and you can get those packets. And these forms will include a motion to waive or reduce LFOs, and a financial statement, declaration, a notice of hearing, and a proposed order for the judge. Once you fill these out, you'll need to make 3 copies of all the completed court forms. Go to the clerk's office and file your original set of forms, including the motion to waive or reduce the LFOs, the financial statement and declaration, and remember to include any attachments to your financial statement, such as your Social Security disability benefits notice and your LFO account summary, the notice of hearing, and the proposed order reducing or forgiving LFOs, and the affidavit of service. And don't worry, now I'm telling you these things, I'm also going to show you what these are at the end of this presentation. I'll show you exactly what this paperwork is. Ask the clerk to stamp your copy with the filed stamp. Ask the court clerk what you need to do to file working or bench copies for the judge. And if so, how to do that. Every court has its own local rules about how and when to submit these copies. Notification. Serve 1 copy of your court form to the prosecutor in your case. To do this, you or someone else over the age of 18 or must deliver a set of copies to the prosecutor's office in person or by mail. Then fill out the affidavit of service form in this packet, and I will show you that at the end, affidavit of service. The person who serves the prosecutor must sign the affidavit, and then you're going to keep 1 set of copies for yourself and everything you filed, and check your mail for any responses from the prosecutor. At the hearing, go to the hearing and answer the judge's question in person. Show up early on the day of your hearing. Or if the hearing is on Zoom, then you'll probably need to download a Zoom app onto your smartphone and then figure out how to set up your Zoom and attend the hearing by Zoom. Allow plenty of time to go through security or setting up your Zoom and find the right courtroom, or also setting up your Zoom. If you're in the court, wait until the judge calls your case or name, answer any questions the judge asks, and the judge may agree with you and sign your order that same day. If the judge signs your order, go to the clerk once more with the signed order, file the order with the clerk, ask the clerk for a conformed copy, a copy officially stamped with the date and time. Keep the conformed copy with your important papers and bring them to the hearing. On all your court forms, fill out the caption at the very top of the first page. There'll be a caption. Print or type the name of the court. The name of the court, first line in the caption will be municipal, district, or superior. District and superior courts will be in the county. Municipal courts will be in the city. For example, the district court in the county of Mason or the municipal court in the city of Seattle. Print or type the name of the plaintiff. The plaintiff should be listed on your JNS. It will probably be the state of Washington or city of Seattle or other city. Print or type your name as a defendant. Print or type the case number on all the court forms. Fill out the footer on the very bottom right corner of the page and print or type your name and address. Filling out the motion to waive or reduce your LFOs. So under other hardships, that will be on that document. Explain if you have any disabilities or other barriers that keep you from paying your LFOs. For example, you may have been trying to make payments for years, but just couldn't. Maybe your education level doesn't allow you to get a job that pays a lot of money, and maybe you're not able to make more than minimum wage, or maybe you have a disability that keeps you from earning enough, or maybe you have high child support needs. So all of those things you should include in your other hardships. Attach any documents that help prove your case. So under other income, you might say, my only source of income is Pell Grant, and then you'll have your Pell Grant award letter. Or you might say, I suffer from multiple disabilities that keep me from working, including severe diabetes or PTSD. And then you'll have a medical report or your Social Security disability benefits notice. And signature and date on the bottom of the last page. Print and type the place and date that you are signing this motion, and financial statement declaration. Sign and print your name. Fill out the proposed order you want the judge to sign. So fill out the caption and footer completely. This should match the caption and footer in the motion. At the end of the order, sign on the bottom left line. Below that, print your name, address, and phone number. Leave the judge's signature blank. So if you're successful at your hearing and the judge agrees that you cannot afford to pay your LFOs, the judge will cross the word propose and sign the order, making it official. Now we'll take a look at the forms. These are the forms. This right here is where you're putting the court, blank court in the state of Washington in the county, city of, so district court, city of Seattle. Plaintiff, this is where you're putting who it's owed to. This is where you're putting your name and the case numbers. Motion to waive or reduce LFOs and financial statement or declaration. Here's the motion. And it says, due to my inability to pay as set forth in my attached financial statement and declaration, and under the laws of the state of Washington, I hereby request that the court reduce my previously imposed LFOs, in this case as follows. And here you're asking to waive all interest on the non-restitution LFOs. You're asking to waive all the LFOs. You're asking to waive the LFOs imposed. Waive all interest on restitution LFOs where the principal has been paid. Remove the LFOs from collection and lower my monthly payment. Suspend monthly payment of the LFOs until I regain the ability to make payments. Allow me to work off LFOs on at community service or other. So that's where you mark that. You'll mark an X. You'll sign right here, print, date, address, city, state, zip. Here's your filling out your financial statement declaration, your monthly income, who you provide, how many people you provide support to and their ages, all your income, and your rent, food, utilities, transportation, maintenance, child support, clothing, childcare, and then that will demonstrate to the court that you don't have the money to pay your LFOs. Your name and address here. If you receive public assistance, it's right here, SSI, SSDI, basic food stamps, SNAP, any of these, make sure that you mark that and then try to show some proof. Down here, I'm not disabled, but I'm unemployed. I have made these efforts to find a job and I'm unable to work because of the reasons. And here's some other situations. Here you would attach your verification of disability. Efforts to pay fines. I attached a copy of my LFO accounting summary showing how much, if any, I have been able to pay. And I have made these efforts. So it's just kind of go through these questions and fill out what you can. Make sure you're signing and dating and putting your address and your name. You're filling out here, here, plaintiff, number, your name. This is the notice of hearing. You have the date, the time, the judge, the place, the matter, the date right here, all of that. Sign here, name and address. This is the notice of hearing. Again. Here's the court order. You're filling out here, here. Plaintiff, defendant. This is the number and the proposed. Xing out these. Or else the judge will put the comments. Affidavit of service. Whoever serves the prosecutor will fill out this affidavit of service. You must be over 18. We'll put the information here of the court and the city of, plaintiff, defendant, number, and they'll put their name. And they declare under penalty of perjury that they are 18 or older on this day of this year, of this month and year, and that they served a copy to the prosecutor. Here it says prosecuting attorney at the address on this day of this month of this year. Signature and print name, and name and address. And these are what will be filed with the court clerk. The reason why we're doing this webinar is because we think that it's, as impacted people and working in our communities, this is one of the most important things that people can either pay off their LFOs or have them reduced, because that's the first step to being able to vacate your record. And vacating your record is the first step to regaining a normal life, a life where you're not burdened with 47,000 collateral consequences or perpetual punishments that people that have been impacted by the criminal justice system have to face every day, being discriminated against because of the record in finding jobs and in housing and education. So this is the first step, and we believe that everybody should have access to the criminal justice system, whether you have an attorney or you don't have an attorney. every person should be able to advocate for themselves if they have the ability to do that. And we want to help do that also. So at this time, I'd like to invite Jacob Kuykendall. He's also our staff attorney at Civil Survival. And Jacob will answer the questions that we have in the chat box and the Q&A as well. Jacob, will you please introduce yourself? Thank you so much for coming on tonight and helping us, assisting us with this. You have so much knowledge in this area, and we just really appreciate your legal knowledge.
Thanks, Sarai. So my name is Jacob Kuykendall. I'm the other staff attorney here at Civil Survival with Sarai. My background was working in a different legal aid program helping folks with reentry issues. So a lot of that was LFO work or vacating convictions, which will be the webinars for the next 2 days after this. So I'm going to go through the questions we got in the Q&A section first, and then I'm going to go through the chat box, just so I hope I can answer these.
Jacob, would you mind before that if Game Changer leaders ask questions, because they might have to help people,
Oh, yeah.
guide people through the process a little bit.
Yeah, please.
You guys have any questions for Jacob about the process? And like, I'm going to send you guys these packets that you can hand out to people in the meetings or give to people if they're requested.
I think for me, most of my questions will come as we try and do this and as people have them. I do want to touch on one of the questions in the chat around restitution. We're hoping for some legislation this year that's in the works that will give some relief. And I hope I didn't just steal that answer from Jacob before he could say it. Kelly and Christopher, do you have any questions that come up right away?
No, I don't. I just wanted to comment, though, that it was a really nicely given presentation. And I think I'm just, processing it all. And if I have any, though, I will let you know.
Yeah, I'm good. So go ahead, Jacob.
Okay. So the first question we got in the Q&A was about someone asking if they have a very large restitution owed, more than they're going to be able to pay back, what options are available. And I think, unfortunately, the real answer is probably Corey's answer, which is that working on legislation to make this better. The LFO waivers focus almost exclusively on non-restitution. And in terms of options, if you owe a lot of money directly to that's labeled as restitution or as some sort of victim's penalty, your options are really limited. If a part of that is interest, you might be able to ask for that to be waived. If there are other fines that are part of that amount of money, you might be able to get that waived. But if it is truly this huge amount just for restitution, you don't have a lot of options that don't involve hiring a team of lawyers to try and argue on your behalf. All right, we have a question. Can someone about to be released get this before leaving incarceration? No, if you look like you're in the situation where you're going to ask for your LFOs to be waived, that's something you have to do after you're released. It's exclusively post-conviction relief. Since COVID, does anyone know how courts are handling payments? Are they sending folks to collections? I participated in the Pierce LFO reconsideration day and worried about my fines being sent back to collections. I'm not sure how the individual courts are doing it because they all handle these differently. I know that currently in Washington State, the governor has put a halt on all garnishments while there is a state of emergency. So it's possible that if you owe money, that could be sent to collections, but they would not be able to garnish your paycheck or garnish your bank account. Now, the governor's proclamation basically expires every month and then he renews it. So it's not like a permanent solution, but at least for the time being, you might get collection notices, but they can't actually take money from you at this time. Corey, there's a question I think for you about game changers in Everett or Snohomish County. I don't know if you answered that already in the chat.
No, I haven't. So we were in the process of looking to expand our game changer groups, and then of course we got hit with COVID, and it really was a stick in the spokes for a lot of our work. But we've been very creative, and we're online for our Pierce County, Kitsap County, Thurston County, and South King County groups. So you can join from anywhere. And I put my email in the chat. Feel free to email me for more information about game changer groups.
We have a question about whether the affidavit of service can be mailed to a prosecutor or must it be delivered in person. Those can be mailed. And in fact, you're going to find a lot of my answers are during the pandemic, the rules are different. It's possible that you'll be able to email that affidavit of service. I'm sure they don't want you appearing in person right now, and they may not have an in-court presence for the prosecutors or an office that's open to the public. So my advice would be mail it or call their office and say, I have one of these. Would it be okay if I email it or fax it? Here's a question. What can we do to support the legislation for helping with restitution? I think I'm going to pass that back to you folks, because I think you know more about the policy end of things than I do.
As we get closer to legislative session, we will be, so it's still kind of uncertain right now whether or not exactly how the legislation is going to be meeting and exactly how we can meet with our legislators. Once we figure that out and there's more details, we'll definitely be reaching out to the people that are in our networks. So make sure you email me and request to be added to our email list. Because there will be opportunities to testify around legislation, as well as advocacy days to advocate around issues that we all need.
Here's a question. If you get your LFOs waived, will it go onto your credit report? It shouldn't. And if you already have LFOs on your credit report and they get waived, they should be removed. Now, they're not always great about updating records this way, so it's a situation where after you get your LFOs waived, you may want to wait a few weeks and then get a new copy of your credit reports. Make sure those updates are done. You may need to send in a copy of the LFO waiver order that you got from the judge to prove that these should be removed. But the way that the courts consider these LFOs waived, it is as though you had never been assigned this money in the first place. It's like the court saying, "Oh, we made a mistake adding these fines," so it should be removed. Oh, we have a clarification on the previous question about folks leaving incarceration. Can you get a copy of the judgment and sentence before leaving incarceration? I would think so. It's just part of your court record of that case. So if you have any way to access the court record while you're incarcerated, the judgment sentence gets filed along with everything else. We have another question about if somebody had a lot of restitution and it's being paid to an insurance company or the state, does that change things? And are there any lawyers that we could recommend? I don't think that it's going to make a difference. The way the law is written is if it is labeled as restitution, you cannot have it waived. In terms of lawyers to be referred to, we're working on building out our legal aid program, but I think in the short term, my recommendation for a case like this, if you owe like a lot of money, might be to contact a place like Northwest Justice Project or somewhere where they kind of take smaller numbers of cases that are more in depth. We also have one question in.
Jacob, can I just interject? I know there was
please.
a law passed last session about restitution to insurance companies. So if that person can put their email in the chat box, then I'll find that law and send it to them.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and it's something that was just passed, so I'm not clear on the exact language. Thank you.
We have a question. I think this is in both the Q&A and in the chat about having multiple cases, whether you need to fill out multiple forms. The answer to that is, if you have multiple cases in the same court that all have LFO, or all have LFOs that you might ask to be waived, you do have to fill out the court forms for every single one. My advice is, although it can be a lot of work, there's a lot of paperwork involved, try and file everything all at once, serve it all in the prosecutor all at once. The reason for that is the judge and the prosecutor on their end, they're going to look through your case and your case history to determine whether they are going to support your motion, whether they think you're eligible. If you file everything all at once, they're going to usually set a single hearing and sign all those orders all at once, or review all those motions all at once. If you spread it out and they have to go to multiple hearings, that's a lot more work for them, and it's a lot more work for you. And on their end, they're doing the same work of checking your records over and over again, which they'll find annoying, to be honest. So the best thing you can do is do everything all at once. I'm going to look at a couple of the questions we have in the chat, because I see there are more questions popping up in the Q&A as we go on. We had a question about whether the courts are open via remote. Most of them are, but each court is handling the pandemic in totally different ways. Some of them are open remote. Some of them have different working hours. One thing that might be beneficial is some of the courts are considering stuff like LFO motions kind of lower priority, and they're handling these just having the judges review them in chambers. So it's possible you will go through the process of setting a motion and then get a phone call from the clerk saying, oh, the judge is just going to review this. You don't need to show up or have a hearing. It's totally different for each court, depending on their staffing and their health concerns and all kinds of stuff. The best thing you do is you're going to have to call the clerk in that courthouse and just ask them, here's what I'm trying to do. When are the hearings for this being set? What is the process right now, considering the pandemic? Let's see. We had another question about collections. I think that we answered. So I'm just reading through these. What if the company went out of business that you owe restitution to? That one's an interesting one. I still think the law is probably that you cannot have the restitution waived. It might be a situation where if you've got the time and the inclination, you might want to try filing the motion to waive your LFOs anyways, because that's the type of thing where if you have a sympathetic judge or your situation is sympathetic, they may be willing to make an exception in that situation, or at least it would be, I would say in my experience, that'd be worth trying. Because the idea, at least from the policy end of things, is that restitution is supposed to go to a victim who's out money because of whatever the crime was. And if that money is not going anywhere, if it's not actually going to a person or to somebody who's victimized, sometimes I've seen judges who are willing to make exceptions. I wouldn't count on it, but if you've got the time and inclination to do the work, I think it's worth a try.
Jacob, what kind of documentation should they take with them to their court date about the business going out of business? Like, what would prove that?
Probably the place I would start is the Washington State Secretary of State's website has a search function where you can search for different business entities, and it will say whether they are active, and if they're not, like when did they declare bankruptcy, did they shut down, what year that was, and you can actually get a printout of that. I used to use that a lot in consumer protection cases to show kind of a similar thing of like, hey, this business hasn't existed for 3 years. This money is just going to go into a deposit account at the court somewhere and just sit there. That is a pretty good indication that even if that business may even still exist, if they are not open for the state, that's I think something to might be worth taking a shot at. Let's see. I think that most of these questions are from the same folks. If you have, I think there's some contact information for us as part of this presentation. So if you have more specific questions, feel free to reach out to us for more information. Yeah, I think that might be it.
Again, if you contact me, I put my email in the chat, and I can connect you with whoever you'd like to be connected to.
Thank you so much, Jacob, we couldn't do this without you, and thank you so much to the Game Changer leaders as well. We couldn't do it. We need you guys, so thank you. Here is our contact information, civilsurvival.org. This concludes the presentation for tonight, and thank you also to our attendees. Please join us tomorrow to talk about vacating your misdemeanor charges, and the following day, join us to find out about how to vacate your felony offenses. Also, Friday, we'll have a great discussion around marijuana convictions and how they still affect Washingtonians today. Thank you all, and have a great evening. I appreciate your attendance and your support.